connected in such a way that they produce their own behavior over time. A set of things interconnected in such a way that they produce their own behavior over time. How many people have children? Kids in the room? Almost everyone. These are my 3 children. I have 3 little girls. 10, 8, 5. Claudia, Estelle, Ruby. Ruby's the redhead. Well, if you have children, I'm sure you can relate. Quite frequently, my wife and I ask them to brush their teeth for at least 2 minutes. The dentist says if you don't brush your teeth for more than 2 minutes, 2 minutes or more, you're not really as effective as you could be. So we go to our children and we say, Ruby, brush your teeth for 2 minutes. Now, Ruby doesn't wear a watch. She doesn't have a concept of time. So 2 minutes means nothing to Ruby. She puts the paste on the toothbrush, puts it in her mouth for 10 seconds, and then says, Daddy, I'm finished. So I can keep going on after Ruby. Ruby, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. You must brush your teeth 2 minutes. Instead, we can solve that problem with a system. What do I mean by that? How many people are familiar with this spin brush, electric toothbrush, spin brush? I have to say, I travel around the world. Everywhere I go, every culture is familiar with a spin brush. It's an amazing thing. But these are amazing. So a spin brush, in case you don't know, in case you don't have kids, you push that button, that big round button, and the brush starts working, right? It starts moving in your mouth. But there's another piece of it. There's a song that plays when you push the button. So you push the button, and there's a song. Da, 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 da. Now, how long do you think the song plays for? 2 minutes, exactly. So what is designed about that spin brush to solve that problem? It's the song. Yes, it's the brush itself. It's the ease of use. It's the interaction with a child in that case. It's the flexibility. Claudia can pick her favorite color, green, and Ruby can pick orange. All of that is designed, but it's not just the brush. It's the system that's there. Yeah? And the beauty of systems is that, you can, as a business, we can talk about our results all day long, but until we change the behavior that drove those results, we're never going to win. And the only way to change behavior is to create a system. To create a system to drive behavior to then drive results. Does it make sense? Like the toothbrush. Systems, in fact, make it easier to do the right thing. This is fundamental to our design approach, designing systems because they make it easier for us to do our business. Now, systems are great, but open systems are better. An open system is a system which continuously interacts with its environment. Continuously interacts with its environment. Why is that important? Because everything is connected and everything is changing all the time. Now, we have great vision. We have great plans for 2020, but we don't know what's going to happen in 2020. We don't know what's going to happen next week, right? No one in the room knows what's going to happen. So we plan, but we never know what's going to happen. And the challenge with that is that everything's connected. So what happens in one part of the world is going to affect the other part no matter what. So for us, systems are everything. Open systems help us adapt to change. So designing these systems, these open systems, are the only way we can change our business and leverage our scale. Make sense? Great. And an easier way, hopefully, to think about this is that when we design things, we design boxes of Legos. Yeah, how many people are familiar with Legos? Everyone plays with Legos. Legos are one box of bricks, and you can configure those bricks a lot of different ways, right? And that's how they've become a sustainable business over time. Every kid can change and adapt those any way they want to. You can trade a brick very easily. You can buy another box and combine them together. But it's this idea of this is an open system as a toy. It can change and adapt no matter what, right? So again, Legos are a great way to illustrate this idea of when you create a system, you can create behavior through that system to drive results. Yeah? So, this is, again, the next point. We win when we design systems that create shared value. All right, you know the drill. I'm going to ask you to say it. 1, 2, 3. We win. Thank you for humoring me. This is fundamental to our whole approach. It's as simple as that. We win every time we design systems that create this notion of shared value. This is the whole thing. Now, let me show you some examples, some very practical examples around how we leverage that. Yeah? Okay, first of all, let me say, what does that look like when we think small? So it's often, before you start talking about the right thing to do, sometimes it's helpful to look at not the wrong thing, but an alternative. Now, I've been with Coca-Cola for 7 years. I joined Coca-Cola in 2004. What is that? Almost 8 years. So anyway, I joined in 2004. Now, when I joined Coca-Cola, we started a project. I had come out of an agency, and we had started a project based on an insight. And the insight was that we had over 100 years of equity in this contour bottle. You know, back in 1916, this contour bottle was, the design brief was to design a package that someone could find in the dark. You could reach your hand into a closet and find it in the dark. Also, the design brief was, if it were to drop on the floor and break into pieces, you'd still understand that it was a Coca-Cola contour bottle, what we call a contour bottle. So how can we take the equity and the value that we have in that package and connect it to one of the most prolific materials in the planet, aluminum? So how do we take the equity of that glass contour bottle and connect it to the material of aluminum? We designed this. The program itself is called the M5 program. We worked with designers all around the world, 5 different countries, to design this. It was printed with UV inks, so that when we launched this, we launched it very much underground in clubs around the world, in Colette and Paris and other places like that. And it was very niche, very sort of big idea, but in a small way. Now, in coming to Coke, I thought, wow, this is amazing. Coke can do these kinds of things, right? We have the opportunity to do these types of things. But the challenge is that actually, while it may sound big, it was actually very small. We were only able to launch that in about 10 countries. Yeah, it created massive PR value, lots of buzz, but we actually haven't been able to get that package and design that in a way that it can be mass produced yet, almost 6 years later, right? So it didn't create the value that it needed for us to leverage our scale across our business. And in fact, it was just a limited edition. So again, this looks kind of cool if you're thinking about this from one context, but if you think about it in terms of this notion of shared value, it's a small idea. In this case, we designed a solution, not a system. Yeah? One other scenario, juice. I mentioned juice before. About 3 years ago, we looked at our juice portfolio, and again, we did the math, and we actually need our portfolio of juice to grow by 3 times to reach our vision in 2020. But we looked at our portfolio. We have about 100 juice brands, and we looked at this. Complete fragmentation across the portfolio. So we knew we needed to do something. So we looked for consumer insights, and actually we watched people, how they buy fruit. As it turns out, most people buy juice the way they buy fruit. They look at the package as if they were looking at a piece of fruit. And with that one insight, we're able to reframe how we thought. We also went back to the beginning. We actually work with one of the largest, actually the largest orange grove in the world. It's owned by a man named Cutrale in Brazil. So we actually went to his groves and actually understood the whole process from grove to the manufacturing process. And then we looked at the future. This is actually from Tel Aviv, Israel, but it could be anywhere. The whole future of the juice category is in merging. So what starts as juice, just very simple juice, could end up with tea and milk in it. So the whole category is growing and expanding. So we knew we needed a system that could accommodate that kind of growth, that kind of flexibility. Because again, we don't know what the future looks like. So we designed this. The thing on the right, or your left. The Minute Maid, in this case, Minute Maid. Again, we have lots of brands. In this case, it's Minute Maid, but we designed a new package. And that's what the world sees. So there was a lot of press at the time. A new packaging design from the Coca-Cola company. And that's what everyone saw, but what they didn't see, maybe what you didn't see, is the system behind it. And so a very complex system behind that package. Yeah, and by designing that system, we didn't design just a package. We designed everything, right? We didn't design a new logo. We designed a whole new brand identity for our whole juice portfolio. Yeah, anything that could be branded was now accommodated for in this new system. And that's important because, again, we didn't design just one brand identity. We didn't design just one package. We designed all of them because we designed a system that will allow us to do the right thing, right? And this gives us great flexibility. So, for a brand like Coke or a product like Coke, we have this formula that we call the 7X formula. And the challenge for us is to go to find those ingredients around the world to replicate this, no matter what country you're in. But with juice, it's a different story. It's about blending. You never know what kind of juice or crops are going to be available from year to year. So it's really about blending. So in designing the flexibility of the system, it allows us to go very quickly to market depending on what the crops are yielding that year. Does that make sense?